Graduates, friends, family, good morning. Or as I say in my home country of Curacao, bon dia. I'm really glad to see you all graduating now. Not because I want to be rid of you, though I do, but because I can't wait to see how you will change the world. I myself came to Brandeis as a foreign student 45 years ago, so I speak to you today not just as your professor, but also as a fellow alumnus of Brandeis. What does it mean to be an alumnus of Brandeis University? And in particular, what does it mean to be a business professional who is an alumnus of Brandeis? It means that you need to do business Brandeis style. What does that mean? Well, you actually just saw an exemplary example in Lang Shui of doing business Brandeis style. So I'm going to try to take now a little bit more of a step back and give you the concept, give you the theory behind business Brandeis style. Well, it turns out that Louis Brandeis himself gave us the answer. He gave a commencement speech on this very topic 105 years ago. This speech is now famous. It was given at Brown University in 1912, and it was entitled Business, a Profession. So of course, that's where I go for my wisdom. But that was a century ago. In my talk here, I will build on his ideas and tell you what I think they mean for you today. Louis Brandeis, of course, is the legal genius for whom this university is named. He started his career in Boston as a corporate lawyer. He became known as the people's attorney because he defended labor, small business, and personal privacy. He became the first Jew to sit on the Supreme Court of the United States. His parents were immigrants from what is now the Czech Republic. Our university was named for Louis Brandeis 70 years ago because of what his name meant to people at the time and still today. Albert Einstein, another genius of that time, said the following about Louis Brandeis. Albert Einstein said, "Brandeis is a name that cannot be adopted. It is one that must be achieved." Let me repeat that. You can't just take on the name of Brandeis. You have to earn it. Well, you did that, right? You passed all your courses, you're graduating today. Congratulations, well done. It turns out that's only step one before you clap. We didn't tell you about step two, but I will tell you that now. Step two is this. You must now conduct yourself in your professional life in a way that honors what Louis Brandeis stood for. And what does Uncle Louis require of us, business professionals? By the way, that's how us alums call him, Uncle Louis. So what does Uncle Louis require of us? Let's turn to his commencement speech and find out what he said about that. So in his speech a century ago, Louis Brandeis set out 3 rules for being a business professional. In short, he said, first, you need to use your brains. Second, you need to work well with others. And third, you need to measure your success by more than just economic profits. I'm paraphrasing what he said, but I'll give you his quote in a minute. Let's take a look at each one of these and ask ourselves, what does that mean for us today, for you yourself? So his first rule is this, and now I'll quote him directly. He says, quote, "A profession is an occupation for which the necessary training is intellectual in character." So he wants you to use your brain. Well, duh, you've been doing that here all this time, right? You learned about discounted cash flows, portfolio optimization, statistical testing, industry analysis, market research, and even scientific methods to step outside of your comfort zones. But that was just step one, remember? In the future, in step 2, using your brain will mean this. It will mean resist fake news. I mean that. Fake news is everywhere, and it is not just information noise. It has real consequences. People get upset about it. Elections have been won and lost because of it. And what's worse, it's not just facts that are sometimes faked. It is also analysis and reasoning. In other words, fake analysis of how the world works. That too is everywhere. Fake analysis hides in misleading company propaganda, in questionable reports from your own governments, and in media and consultants that use empty buzzwords. So Uncle Louis wants you to use your brain like we trained you to do. That means that you should always question and think hard about what you read and hear. And you must figure out for yourself what is true and what is false. After all, that is what Louis Brandeis did in his own career. He was known for winning tough cases in court. He did that by writing what today is called a Brandeis brief. And that is a legal document filled with facts and figures on how a legal ruling would affect real people. That is how he won his cases, with facts, real ones. So always use your brain. That is the first rule of business Brandeis style. Second rule, and again I'll quote from his speech in Brown University. He said, business is an occupation which is pursued largely for others and not merely for one's own self. I think what he means there is that business is a team sport, not a solitary one. Think of it, everything you do in business is in a group, in an organization, and as part of a community. You are never the only stakeholder. You've experienced that here too. You've worked in teams on papers, field projects, case competitions, and you've created and led your own clubs. Through that experience, you've learned what Dean Petrie also emphasized. You've learned that working across cultures is a good thing, and you've learned to see diversity as a strength. Diversity of opinion, of experience, of gender, and of culture. In the days of Louis Brandeis, there was even less diversity in government and business than there is today. For Jews like Brandeis, many doors were shut. For African Americans and other people of color, discrimination was even more harsh and painful. Since then, we've made progress, but the battle for equality, opportunity, and inclusion is far from over. So you, as a generation, have work to do on this front to bring people together in your work. I know you'll do this in part because it is your duty as a business professional Brandeis style. And let's be clear why you cannot avoid this duty. As a business professional, you'll be part of a global elite. About 7% of the world's population has a college degree. I would guess that fewer than 1% to 2% have a master's degree. So welcome to the 1% to 2%. I don't say this to flatter you, but rather to remind you of the words of Spider-Man, who said, with great power comes great responsibility. Thank you, Bobby. I learned that from you. This world that you are inheriting really is one with problems, so you have a tough task ahead. It's a world with war and violence. People are starving now in many parts of the world. I don't have to tell you this. Too many of you have seen these problems firsthand. The one global problem that is hard for us to see firsthand until it is too late is the warming of our atmosphere and the disruption of our biosphere. Your generation, unfortunately, will see many more of the effects of our 2 centuries of rough and tumble industrialization. Capitalism is a powerful system of production, we know that. But as Louis Brandeis warned a century ago, if left unchecked, it can overpower society. Now we know that it can also overpower Mother Nature itself. All this is real, not fake news. Al Gore, who was the Vice President of the United States under Bill Clinton, called them inconvenient truths. You will have to face and struggle with these truths in your business life ahead. That's a big job. But that's what it means to do business Brandeis style. So let me read for you the final and third rule of Uncle Louis, so you see his view on that too. He said, for a business professional, the amount of financial return is not the accepted measure of success. What? You're not supposed to make money? You are. And he admits that. And he says that without profit, a business cannot survive. He himself made plenty of money, but he freed himself to do even more work pro bono for free. So what he means in this third rule is that we have to set for ourselves a higher standard of success. We have to make a positive impact on the world. Real success in business, and I quote again, he said, lies in, quote, achievements like those of the artist or the scientist or the inventor or the statesman. In today's lingo, this success means that you have to create value for society, not just extract value for yourself. How can you do this starting tomorrow after you leave our campus? Each of you has to figure that out for yourself. And you'll have to follow wherever your heart leads you. Your conduct can help solve some of the real problems of our world. We here will stay tuned, eager to hear of your achievements. So this job that lies ahead of you is more than you asked for when you first walked into the career center. But you're up to it. That's what it means to be world ready. And it is what Uncle Louis expects of you. He wants you to use your brains to work well with others, and most importantly, don't just follow the money. Always follow your heart. That's what it takes to do business Brandeis style. So graduates, class of 2017, this lecture, last lecture is almost over. Your classes are over. Your future is waiting for you. So my wish to you is, as my superhero would say, live long and prosper.